Welcome to the Reinventing the Tattoo community. It is amazing watching artists become better artists, become more inspired, and in turn do better tattoos on their clients and help them feel better. It is an amazing, self-perpetuating, positive cycle of awesomeness that is tattoos. So thank you very much to Guy Edison and to the whole crew and everyone who's participating in putting these together. It is Monday morning, and this is the Reinventing Drawing Group, hashtag Reinventing Drawing Group with Jake Meeks from the Fireside Tattoo Networks. We do this every Monday morning at 9 o'clock Eastern. Monday morning, if you're on Eastern Standard, it's wicked early West Coast, and we do have people getting up at the real crack of dawn to join us. And Europe, you have it easy. It's like 3 or 4 in the afternoon for you, wherever you are. In any event, if you are an artist, you are encouraged to download the Reinventing the Tattoo app or go straight on your browser, community.reinventingthetattoo.com. And when you go to the event schedule, the very first event will be this event. You don't want to click the watch now, you want to click the zoom in, and then you could join us. And that is the only place where we have the link. So I'll repeat one more time, Reinventing the Tattoo community, download it on the app stores, community.reinventing. The event schedule will have the Reinventing Drawing event or any of the events that you're looking for, and the Zoom link is right there. If we put it out on YouTube or Facebook or wherever else you might be watching, then spammers get a hold of it and we can't have that. Okay, I'm going to test to make sure that this is working in a couple different places while I am reading off the new schedule. And you could let us know if this is working for you, and please let us know if this is working for you in the chat room, and let us know where you're beaming in from. So this is the Reinventing the Tattoo community, and as I was mentioning before, the events are the pillar. All of our live streams are one of the mainstays of what we're doing here, 5 to 7 times a week. Just awesome, inspirational art stuff. It's pretty crazy. And you'll see right here, we have the watch show or the zoom in. You click on this zoom in and you will be beaming in with us. At noon on Mondays, so I'll talk about the upcoming schedule. On noon, we have Let's Talk Tattoo with Mark from Needle Jig every Monday. And he does often interviews with artists or other industry people or Q&As with tattoo supplies. He's an inventor type of a guy. Today is James Gaithier from Adina Gloves. So if you're wondering why your glove prices are through the roof, this would be a great place to talk straight with an industry expert. Every Monday at 9 o'clock, we have exclusive Reinventing the Tattoo subscriber exercises. So if you are a tattooer or an apprentice and would like to participate in group exercises with Guy Aitchison and an amazing group of artists that join us every week, you will need to subscribe, but I'll talk about that a little bit later. Okay, so tonight is Depth Strategies Part 6, 9 o'clock. Then Tuesdays, at 10 o'clock, we still have live webinars with Tony Urbanik. He's every week, an hour and a half to 2 hours, grinding out, building a fucking tattoo machine, raw dog style. He's got his electric tools right next to him, but he's using his hand files to show you how to do it by hand. If you're an apprentice, oh my lordy, you got to get a hold of some tools and do this. And it doesn't make a difference when you're watching because all of these webinars are recorded, and Tony's going to be beaming in and answering questions and doing critiques far into the future. So reinventingthetattoo.com/build a tattoo machine, Tuesdays at 10 or anytime in the future on replay. Actually, okay, so it's really exciting. We have a special event tomorrow, an art jam with Brad Wooten at 2 p.m. Eastern. And if you have his new Tattoo Smart brush set, it's going to be out of control. Cyberfluidics. It's sick. And it'll be a great opportunity for you to ask questions, but this is an art jam that's open for everybody. 2 o'clock on Tuesday. On Wednesday at noon, I'm going to be doing a Tattoo Now business plan outline and Q&A. We're gearing up the Reinventing the Tattoo business course, which is going to be pretty fun. It's like all the old webinars I've got updated, and with a lot of new guest authors. We'll be doing discussion panels and picking the Reinventing the Tattoo crew for their brains about tattoo business stuff. Let's see, at 8 o'clock on Wednesday, we have Live in the Castro with Haley Adams as the host, and then Brittany Abad as the guest. They are beaming in straight from the Castro. These are amazing stories. There's no straight white dudes, really. It's all crazy, awesome, colorful culture. LGBTQ plus people of color. It is well needed and very inspiring. And the kind of the outlaws inside of the outlaw culture, possibly. I don't know. You could have them speak. They could speak for themselves. They do it once a month, and the replays are all available. We've got the Tattoo Collecting Podcast with Jordan Ruckus and Fawn Baker. They have been. This is our 24th episode. They do them live every Thursdays at noon. It's a great conversation with collectors. The tattoos that they send in are just. I mean, they're basically talking with the best collectors. At this point in the States, I'm not sure if they've hit Europe yet, but in any event, if you are a tattoo collector and have an awesome collection and want to hop on camera on a Zoom call, then you should contact them directly. tattoocollecting.com, I think. Okay, so then other special events. Let's see, we've got a live paint jam with Renee Little on the 22nd at 7 o'clock. That's a couple Mondays from now. Renee is an awesome painter and tattooer out in Oklahoma City. We have the Italian Art Jam is with Stefano Fabriti, 1 p.m. Eastern. It's like 6 or 7, I guess, over in Italy. But March the 3rd, the first Wednesday of the month at 1 o'clock. It's all in Italian. We also have Bruno has been hosting. Oh man, my pronunciation's horrible. Hablamos de Arte, Spanish-speaking art jams, and we're talking with Ali about doing a German one, Turiansky about maybe doing a Russian one, an Indian one. If you don't speak English or English is your second language, but you want to engage in these activities, then you have the opportunity to. And if you want to host a show like that, then get in touch with us. Okay, I am going to hop on over to the main menu here. Of course, there's a feed where people could update their tattoos for critique and the art and all sorts of cool stuff. I found Philip Blue singing a fucking badass blues song I plopped in there. Anyways, that's my feed. That's stuff where you could post. But the library here is the other spot, and the video library specifically where you could find all of the replays for all of these shows. We've got the Reinventing the Tattoo podcast. We might change that to the Reinventing the Tattoo show because it's video. We're going to get it out on cable access TV. We've got the Tattoo Collecting podcast, the Reinventing Drawing groups like today, the art jams. Let's Talk Tattoo with Mark. The History of Tattoo Conventions is with Alex Van Dutch from the WorldTattooEvents.com, the premier site for tattoo convention information, and he's talking with amazing convention promoters. They're all pretty historical events. We've got Drunk Critiques. Holy Moses, there's a 9-hour holiday special in there. Just got to write up in Tattoo Society magazine. They're a little out of control. The last one, we were doing a monthly, but we had to take a little bit of a break after the 9-hour one. Joe Cap came in and smashed some china. Paul Booth came in and chilled everyone out. It was out of control. Live in the Castro, here's their replays. We've got the virtual tattoo gathering. Oh my God, it's out of control. So go and download the Reinventing the Tattoo app to get a hold of all this stuff. I do want to thank our sponsors because they help this free content go out. And we've got inkjet stencils, and they have a whole section here so that you can check out the Andre Malcolm's got a video where he's printing out a whole back piece in one shot. There's a webinar, digital editing for inkjet stencils, and then after you treat your images, if you want to just try it out, then the free inkjet stencil test is, all the information is right here. I want to welcome another new sponsor. I just half an hour ago made the agreement with Loose Screw Tattoo. Jesse Smith is a Sikh tattooer. They have a great shop in Richmond, Virginia. And Jesse is no fucking joke. Let's see here. I'm going to tell you the opportunity. If you are a tattooer and are possibly looking for a new residency, or maybe a guest spot, but Loose Screw's really looking for a resident, I'm going to give you just the meat and potatoes. So they're looking for an artist who is motivated, diverse, and capable of doing both color and black and gray tattoos. Check this. All supplies are covered with health, dental, paid vacation, and 401k options. Oh, shit. Get real, people. This is perfect for someone who's looking to build a solid foundation as an artist. Other keywords to sprinkle throughout are it's a very busy shop, you must have a good attitude, and be eager to learn, etc. If you let them know that you found out about the job position from Reinventing, then they're going to know you already have the right attitude. So, Loose Screw Tattoo, Jesse Smith, they're looking for residents. And they're always busy, man. Like, if you watch this 2 years from now, they're still looking because Jesse runs a great shop. They're always busy. They're turning people away, and it's out of control. Let's see. We've got Foxborough Farms CBD. It's they tried to advertise on we're happy to have on Hemp House Farms and Foxborough Farms CBD. There's nothing to do with tattooing, but they have great solves. They've got some tinctures. And they are one of our new sponsors. So yeah, head that way if you're interested. It's grown right there. The farm, the greenhouses They're growing like 3,000, CBD cannabis plants right there, and then they do all the processing. And the people that are making the stuff use all the stuff. And I've known this crew for a long time, so I actually would put them up here on the show. Let's see what else we got. The Bioencyclopedia, Guy Aitchison's. If you go to catalog.reinventingthetattoo.com and check out, Guy's got a whole mess of products here, so they are worth checking out. He's got the Biomech Encyclopedia. Shit, I'm not going to show it off here. I'll show it off later. We'll do maybe a full feature on it. It's out of control if you love this stuff. He has some tattoo machines, some DVDs, and then courses.reinventingthetattoo.com is where you will find all of the professional development. Earlier, I was talking about the Reinventing the Tattoo Canon. You can find it here. It's got 8 major chapters inside of this huge course. Working in a second medium, working from reference. There's dozens of videos, seminars. It's out of control, and whew, okay. I am going to pass it over to Jake Meeks. Okay, Fireside Tattoo Network. Their YouTube channel is awesome, has been awesome for a long time. There's a tremendous amount of interviews. We'll talk about them quite a bit throughout the course of this the stream. But yeah, check it out. He also has webinars over there. Dan Marshall, Nick Baxter, some sick artists, and we are all pushing in the same direction together, so it's exciting. Okay, let us know in the chat room some of your inspirations, and maybe we'll pull them up. I've got a browser window here ready to go, and Ricardo and Morag and Jason Lesser are all on the thing here, so I'm just going to get out of the way and thank everybody for making this work. Great.
All right. Yeah, man, that's cool that you have Jesse. Sorry, I'm still. I'm glad that you had so much to say this morning, because I forgot I pulled my camera down yesterday. We got so much snow here. Am I on screen or no? Can you guys see me?
Yes, you are on screen.
And it's just showing the. It's just showing the. Let me start there, and then I'll figure all the rest of this out. I took my camera down yesterday because we have so much snow here. Not so much compared to you, Gabe, I'm sure, but we have like inches of snow on the ground. It's like single digits. We never get that. So I took my new Sony camera that I've been using for this for these streams, and went out and tried to play with it, and then I completely forgot to set it all back up. So the whole time you've been talking, I've been in panic mode trying to get all my settings back to video settings and all the mounted back, so that worked out perfectly. Yeah.
Awesome. Just real quick, the other thing I want to plug, I can't believe I forgot. I need to get a fucking actual script here. The Reinventing the Tattoo YouTube channel is started and it's fresh. We've got like 20 subscribers, so nice. Please go subscribe. Let people know that it's there and it exists. And we are going to shuffle all of these streams straight to the Reinventing the Tattoo YouTube channel. Nice. Now I am officially back in the back.
Awesome. All right. Yeah. I was gonna make that plug as well. That like we're all everyone's made it to YouTube. I had a good long call with Russ Abbott yesterday, and he's working hard on building their YouTube channel out. So I told him I'd be sure to shout out the Tattoo Smart YouTube channel as well. He's been doing a lot of live streams. I watched some of the stuff that he's doing with Brad Wooten. That's cool that Brad's coming on and doing an art jam with you guys. He's man, he's an interesting guy with that brush set is so crazy. But Russ has been doing some pretty cool stuff with this video. I mean, he really invested in production. His live streams are just kind of straightforward live streams. I mean, it looks clean, but they're just kind of straightforward live streams. But some of the stuff that he's doing to like promote the brush sets, he's got some really cool like filters and cameras and this like crazy macro lens where like the tip of a pencil like this looks like it's the size of the screen. It's really, really cool. But anyways, yeah, check out Reinventing the Tattoo and Tattoo Smart. And all right, let me see if I can get this thing up and going. I'm working today. Who else do we have? I can't see all the guests. Let me see. Is
Ricardo, Morag, and Jason Lesser.
Sweet. Where's everyone? Why don't I see everyone else's? Let's see, gallery. Let me change the gallery. There we go. What's up, everybody? Now I see you all.
What's up, Jay?
So I'll kick it off here. Let me see if I can get my my screen to pull up, and I need to flip this iPad screen, I guess. You can kind of see what I'm sketching on here a little bit. I just started it, sketched it out day before yesterday, and got to about this point with it. Let me see, this point with it. And then yesterday started like doing a really rough color study. But I've got a client. I'm starting this piece on Wednesday, Thursday. I'm way ahead, like Jason. I'm like drawing days in advance now.
It's helpful, man.
Yeah. Let's see. Let me see
Especially
if
for
this
like
is any
last
better.
minute tweaks.
Yeah.
It can make a world of difference.
Yeah, absolutely. I need to be doing that more often. Sorry, this might throw off my my screen a little bit. I'm just going to change it. I should have taken a little time beforehand. Like I said, I thought I was still set up from last week, but none of my stuff was actually set up, so my screen's going to be a little bit wacky, but you can still kind of get an idea. So yeah, I started kind of sketching this out, a mermaid on the thigh. And right now, I really wanted her to be upside down, so I did some rough sketches with her upside down. Let me see if I have any of those. No, that was where I was trying to flip this one around. I really wanted her to be upside down. Ever since Teresa Sharp did that upside down mermaid on that girl's torso a couple of years back, I really wanted to do it, but I just can't. You know, like the gravity changes when you draw someone upside down. Like their face should change, and like, you know, it's a mermaid, so her boobs should rise and all that kind of stuff. Unless I guess she's floating, so it may not be. Maybe I'm overthinking it. But anyways, I was struggling because I'm inventing this stuff. I draw a lot out of my head before I look up reference. And if I can't find something out of my head that I like, then I kind of abandon it because I don't want to get too attached to the reference. But so I ended up kind of abandoning the upside down version and going with this. And right now my challenge is figuring out how it's going to end, kind of on both ends, going down here at the bottom, and then also how it's going to taper up her hip. And if she's going to be cool with it going up her hip, because she wanted a thigh tattoo, not a hip tattoo. So, but that decision is mine, not hers, right? That's a joke.
I laughed.
All right. So yeah, here's
What's that thing
where I
in the
stand.
background?
What's that?
What's that thing in the background? Is that?
It's going to be her tail. I'm just kind of roughing it in. Maybe if I pull, maybe. So that was one thing that I'm still kind of playing with. I think I want. Let me see if I can draw a little bit here and highlight.
That's funny. I was like, I think it's a door and a wall. It's definitely not.
I thought it was a tree.
That should tell you then. Let's see. Hold on. I think my.
So let's see. So Miss Rossa says ice storm here in Oregon, out of power since Friday, but still might be on a Zoom in a bit. Might not be though. It's wicked early for her out there.
Yeah.
Caroline Evans says good morning. She zoomed in, I think last week maybe. Neil Foster says hello, artists. Jonathan Nichols says wow. Trevor Arsvold says, oh my God, I finally made it to a live session. I've watched literally all of them when I've been painting some Flash I've been working on.
Nice. Let me see if I can get my pencil to reconnect here. Sorry, I had to unplug my iPad. That's awesome. Yeah. The live sessions are, I think they're more fun to watch them live than to go back and watch them on the replays. Yeah, it's just me.
You know, I've thrown some of them on in the background while I'm walking around, and the recordings aren't. I mean, it would be great to edit maybe 10 to 20% of it out, but for the most part, people aren't repeating themselves too much.
Yeah.
So yeah, I love to do that with some of those podcasts from that Fireside channel.
Oh yeah,
that guy Jake, man, I could just listen to him all day.
Oh yeah, right. Just listen to that guy ramble all day about drinking beers.
In all honesty, though, man, it's one of my favorite things to do. You know, I'll be outside mowing the lawn, I'll be shoveling snow. You know, maybe I'm taking a drive out to a supplier or something, and I'll literally just pull up a random podcast. Not that I haven't already listened to all of them, but you know,
thanks, man.
You know, I'll just pull up a random one, and it's like, oh yeah. I haven't heard this one in a while. Yeah, let me go back through and see what little beautiful nuggets of information I can get out of this thing.
Well, awesome. So, I appreciate that. Yeah,
really been helpful.
Well, thanks. Yeah, we've got some fun ones coming up. I'm really excited for that one this past week with Andre Malcolm. Was Andre Malcolm last week?
Yes.
I'm getting my weeks confused. Okay, so this week we have Kevin from Tattoo Snob. So this turned out great. I just learned this over the weekend. I recorded it through Zoom, and it rendered it. You finish recording it, it says we're processing the clip, and then you go to where it saves your Zoom. It saved both audio files separately, but did not render a video file. So luckily, most of it. I mean, there's nothing you really had to see. So I'm just going to try to come up with enough B-roll and stuff like that to drop over it, so you don't really have to look at us. But yeah, either way, I was like, yeah, of course, just my luck. So I just reached out yesterday to Kevin to let him know that happened. But well, we'll see. It looks like I lost my iPad here.
Back to the beginning.
What's that?
You got to go back to the beginning, man.
Yeah, yep, it's true.
Back to the beginning.
Yeah, we'll feature someone else. I showed my drawing. I can work on it as
Ricardo, I don't know what it is about your other iPhone headphones, but they're fucking magic.
These that I'm working right now.
No, the one, because as soon as you started talking, I was like, wait, that's Ricardo's voice, but it doesn't sound as crystal clear as it does. And no one else, like, it doesn't make a difference what anybody else is using. I mean, it sounds fine, but I just noticed right away in my headphones, I'm like, he's not using his, are those standard regular headphones that you were using before?
Yeah, man, they came straight from the iPhone box.
That's crazy. I think everyone breaks theirs and uses something different, because that shit was clear for you right away. Anyways, back.
I just never got around to getting them.
Jason, we have some. Yeah, obviously we have some chat in the chat room about people looking for tips about how to beam in. It's probably worth us recording a little 10-minute video of some of the breakdowns of what different people are using, huh? Well, I guess we should do that with you too, Jake, right? Because you have like the crazy camera set up and with the high def cameras and.
I'm still learning mine. I think Jason's is probably way more accessible for most people who aren't trying to run a podcast. Because you're using just a regular, Jason, you're using just a webcam that you picked up off of Amazon or something, right? And Manycam.
Yeah, I've got 2 webcams plugged in, and then most of it's just, I mean, everything's going through my laptop, so it's not like I'm doing it straight from an iPad.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I've got a little like extension arm, and actually, let me switch my setup. I'll show you guys real quick. Just don't mind the mess. That's all I ask.
All right.
So for those that might be curious, I have like the everyday layperson setup for, podcasting and videos and stuff like that. So you don't have to have 2 screens, but I've got, a nice Wacom tablet and then laptops over here kind of set up. Right in front of me, as you can tell, I've got 2 webcams hooked up. So I've got one pointing down at my iPad, right, with this little like extension boom arm that just kind of sits on my desk, and it's a little bit out, so I've got it weighted down with just a screwdriver that I grabbed. It was the closest thing to me that had a little bit of weight, so it's like, oh yeah, that'll work. Lighting I think is the most important thing, and then my webcam for my video normally sits like right here. The important thing to remember when you're setting up both of these dual cameras is if you're going to be going live and interacting with someone on video, make sure that you have whatever like video streaming platform situated right underneath your camera. That way it always looks like you're talking to the person that's beaming in. It's something I picked up from working in higher education, doing webinars and tech support for Zoom meetings for quite a few years. It really gives you the idea that, hey, this person's talking directly to me, as opposed to, maybe I have the Zoom window open over on that screen, and it's like, well, now I'm not looking at anyone, I'm looking off camera. It doesn't really give you the same feel. But if I have it positioned right underneath the camera, even if I'm looking a little bit lower, it still looks like I'm, looking at everyone that's in the room.
Right.
So
facing their general direction.
Yeah, it's just kind of the way that I have it set up. And then I'm running both webcams through a program called Manycam to do like split screens and thumbnails. I can even do a transition. I can add in lower thirds, which are pretty cool. For anyone that doesn't know what that is, it's kind of like a flashover like that, so you can see my name or whatever information I want to put up there. It's got some pretty cool effects. I can do a virtual background if I want to, add in different images. I can do a timestamp. I can draw text, add text right onto it. It's got some pretty cool features. You know, you can crop it, flip it. Actually, what I did with this webcam is I took it and in the program, I have it flipped vertically and horizontally so that it's giving you like a bird's eye view of the view that I have of my iPad. So that way, when people are seeing me draw, it's like, oh yeah, he's moving like this, but it's almost as if you're sitting right in front of me.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that. The way that I had mine, my iPad set up, you're actually getting the screen, so you see the marks that I'm making, but you don't see my hand moving. And I like the way that you do it, where it's an actual camera over, which I've got that capability here with this setup. Here, I'll see if I can pull mine up really quickly and show you. I had to plug my iPhone in to use a camera. I don't have the second camera sitting here handy, but let me see if I can make this work real quickly. And I'll kind of show you this setup that I just got. It's kind of crazy. Let me turn this iPhone back. Actually, I'm going to pull the iPhone up and make it a little bit bigger, and then actually turn it on. Let's see here. Let's blow this thing up kind of big, just so you can kind of see what I'm doing here. You guys see that at all?
Yeah.
Whoa! Talk about professional setup.
Yeah, I just got all this stuff set up. So basically, I've got this little Rode Video Micro external mic, and I'm not using that now, but I use it for podcasting, and it just plugs right into my camera. This is the coolest part to me. Like when I'm not featured right here, you guys are all right there, and my camera is actually, this is a teleprompter with a 4K monitor. My camera is actually right here behind this glass, and it's shooting me. So it is my webcam. Like if I flip it off of this and then back to me, you know, you'll see me. So the cool part about that is when I'm doing Zoom interviews, I can actually look straight at the guest, and I'm recording myself on the SD card, both video and audio in 4K, coming straight through. So it's like I'm not looking down at the monitor; I'm looking into the camera. So that's pretty cool.
Nice.
And then I just grabbed this little LED light's pretty cool. It's got I don't know if you can see back there. It's got a controller that I can control the intensity and temperature of the light and everything like that. But it's it's a cool setup. And then my Cintiq, I have it unplugged right now, but it's a part of it as well. So pretty cool.
Awesome.
I love those teleprompters, man.
Yeah, the teleprompter's so cool, man. I had never I'll turn that off. I had never even considered that before, but it's so cool. I got it. All of this stuff basically came from Caleb. I'm drawing a blank on his last name, but DSLR Video Shooter is his YouTube channel. He is awesome. I mean, like super. First of all, his video and audio are super high quality. His production value is great. He's really, really smart. He has great ideas on how to combine different stuff, and he has budget-friendly stuff and really expensive stuff as far as audio video equipment. He reviews everything in the world, it's just a great channel if you're trying to get into audio, like upping your production quality or anything like that. And he's not annoying. A lot of these guys that are doing this kind of stuff can be super obnoxious and annoying, and he is not at all. So I can't recommend Caleb enough for that kind of stuff. All right, let's see if I can get my iPad to work again.
So Morag, let's hear from you're in Germany, is that
Scotland.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
How's it there? Are you getting any snow? I mean, not to talk about the weather, but first we'll talk about the weather, but then let us know how it's going.
Well, the snow's just melted. We've had ridiculous amounts of snow. We don't usually get heavy snow like this, but this winter has been unusual. We're kind of sick of it now. So it was fun listening to Jake saying that he was excited about a couple of inches. We're glad to see the back of it. So yeah, as of today, that we've had a huge temperature rise, and it's amazing. I can see the grass again, and yeah, I'm delighted. It's warmer. Nice. It's in the middle of the afternoon here, so
nice.
I'll show off my. We have an after hours group in the app, and so it was Ricardo. You were in there. I was like, I woke up at 5 o'clock in the morning, and all of a sudden we're like talking in the drinking section of the app. But we have we started showing off our snow pictures.
Yeah.
This is Ricardo.
Terrible.
Let's see. Here we go. This is my my morning exercise. Nice. Just ice water. Freezing.
Yeah.
Nice.
What are the temperatures in you guys' areas? We never hit temperatures like this. It's blowing my mind. What is it in East Hampton right now?
Yeah, it was like 20-ish
Oh, okay.
where we were. Where's it? What's it in Scotland?
Oh, sorry, it's above 7 degrees. I was just thinking it's Celsius here, so don't know if that means anything to you.
44 degrees.
Okay.
Yeah, it's colder here than it is in Scotland right now. It's I think last night it dropped to -4.
Oh.
I think this morning it was -1. So it's pretty rough, man. Rough start.
Well, it's not like the climate scientists haven't been like, hey, that shit that's happening? Well, it's going to start pushing these fucking cold fronts. Like, instead of being stuck at the North Pole, it's going to move around a little bit. And
Right.
I guess I haven't quite read the papers yet, but I remember last year it was like, ice caps melting. No, for real, they're actually melting,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Scotland's still on lockdown, so you're still...
Yeah, well, it's been since before Christmas, and now we're not expecting to go back before mid-March or something, I think, was the last I heard, but we'll just need to see. There's been a new variant of the COVID discovered here, and it's freaking everybody out, so...
Shit.
Yeah, they don't know if the vaccines are going to work, so everybody's a little bit tetchy at the moment.
Yeah, I caught some of the news that there was like one of the vaccines didn't work against one of the variants, but one of the other vaccines worked just as effectively.
Yeah,
and, it's
a bit confusing, so we'll just need to sit tight and see what happens.
Yeah, I'm just going to get all my news about the COVID from Facebook.
Yeah.
Because if it's on Facebook, it's got to be true, right?
Yeah. Fantastic.
Actually, I just want to say one last thing about the Reinventing app is that every time you post, you actually have to post in a group. There's no just talk about myself group, and there's no politics group, which is great. So it's like I know I see people on Facebook that I really want to fucking start fighting right away, and I don't because I can't anymore. But then I see their post up on Reinventing. I'm like, oh, that's awesome. I want all the best of success for you. How can we help?
I actually got off Facebook for that exact reason, and I couldn't take it anymore. But I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm out.
I don't use it either.
I was part of a few Facebook groups for a while, and it was just so negative all the time. And the people that were commenting and just ripping people apart, it's like, you look at their work and it's like, all right, well, what are you doing to improve? And they tend to be the most hypercritical people. And, it's like, all right, well, you know what? I'm done. I'm out. What's the next thing? What's something positive that's going to help drive my career in the right direction? And it's like, well, Reinventing, it's a very positive group where everyone goes to grow, and doesn't matter what your skill level is. We're all there for the same purpose. We're all there to improve.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
There's definitely a couple of apprentice types that are watching. There's one woman from I think from Connecticut who just crossed over into licensed tattooer like a week or two ago, and so it's awesome to be able to it's awesome to help everybody and catch everybody, but just in the beginning, the leaps of growth are so noticeable that it's really, obviously, everyone has already experienced. It's really rewarding. And but it's also the old timers that are on, they just inherently, they're already farther along in their skill level and skill sets that to make those same leaps in improvement take like twice. At first they take twice as much effort to get half as far, and then it's like 5 times as much effort to get just 10% as far. And that's why guys just fucking out of control, inspirational. It's like, he's so fucking good that he has to work really hard to keep getting a little bit better, but he does. And it's just.
I remember one of the first times that or it may have been the first time that I actually sat and talked with Guy, and I asked him why he still focused on bioorganic tattooing after all these years, and like what else there was to get from it. And he was like, I think at this point I'm just trying to make it more believable, more real. That's why I, study, light and texture so much more than I ever have before. And I walk around and take photographs, and I build mock-ups and light them in different ways, just trying to get, so he's really dealing with, with problems in a way, especially for his specific type of tattooing, dealing with problems that a lot of people don't even really recognize yet. And it's funny, Jeff Gogwe said something similar to me in our podcast with him, that he felt like he was tackling problems in tattooing that most tattooers don't don't really even understand. So he made some comment that a lot of people say that he's like phoning it in these days, or his work today isn't like it was 10 years ago or whatever. It's not as good as he's not as good as he used to be or whatever. And he was like, I think I'm just dealing with a different set of problems than I was at that point. And I think a lot of people just don't understand what my goals even are at this point. So it's funny how people evolve, and how a lot of us don't even recognize what it is that they're we've looked up to them for all these years, and they're solving problems that we don't really have a good grasp of what they even are.
Oh yeah, he is. They are hiring there at 26 Swords too.
Oh, are they?
Yeah,
hey, look at that! You go work for Jesse Smith or Gogwe.
It's harder to find amazing, honest, hardworking artists that'll just fucking do a great job and smile at the end of the day than than you'd think, as everyone here knows.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I love Jesse's awesome, man. I really like. I love being around him. He is a true entrepreneur, man. That guy is driven in every sense of the word. He's an inspiring guy to be around.
And a sick ass artist, right? So
yeah, how's he that good? It's spreading himself as thin as he does. See, my excuse for not being that good is that I do too many things, and he blows it. Like he screws up my theory.
Yeah, let me fire up Jesse's work here. Yeah,
man, he's so good. I was talking about before my iPad quit on me. I was talking about the episode that's coming out this week, no video episode with Kevin from Tattoo Snob. We started a little Google Doc together for doing some maybe 10 to 15 minute episodes on social media and Instagram, and he just kind of threw out things that he thought were valuable. He's learned so much building this 500,000 person subscriber base or follower base on his Instagram, and then trying to migrate them to other platforms. So he's really learned a lot of the ins and outs of how that stuff works. And so I'm really excited to put this little series out with him of just short little episodes on shadow banning and how it's happening to people and they don't even realize based on some of the hashtags that they're using, or
sure. Or like repeating hashtags. My favorite's like when people just like copy and paste. Yeah, it's like copy paste. Like there are algorithms that all they do is search for patterns.
Yeah, that kind of stuff. Yeah. Tons of stuff. I should try to pull that. Let me see if I can pull up our little. I'm gonna try to pull up some of the topics. We haven't shot any of these yet, but I was like, man, I love all these ideas so much, and so hopefully we do this. The episode we just did is just a regular episode, but these will be short, little, almost like our 3-minute better tattooing segments, but they'll be more on social media stuff. Here we go. Nice. So we thought a couple of these ideas real quick while you're doing that. Okay.
Okay, so I'll fire up Jesse and show off some bodysuits and.
Yeah, go for it. Let's multitask here.
We can do two things at once.
That's right.
Unlike our fucking. Never mind. I don't want to start talking about the government. But yeah, check this out. Jesse's been working on bodysuits for a long fucking time too. Like probably 15 years ago when I first met him. I said it was 2004. Maybe I did his first website, and he was doing bodysuits then. And I'm like, how is this guy that does fucking cartoons working on these bodysuits?
Yeah.
Right.
And all these big fields of soft pastel color that hold up. The first time I met Jesse, we were booth neighbors at the Evergreen show, Joshua Carlton show, and he was working on one of the. I know that dude. That's Patrick. I'm drawing a blank on his last name. He helped us with our editing for a little while. He's an audio engineer. That tattoo is awesome. In real life, I've seen it. It's awesome. What was I saying? I first met Jesse at the Evergreen show, and he was working on a piece that was 10 years old. That was all powder blues and lime greens, and he was just kind of going back through it. It was someone that lived out west that he hadn't seen in years. The tattoo was flawless. I mean, 10 years of healed baby blue. It looked incredible. Look at that.
That's definitely blasted in your face. The contrast in that is just unmistakable. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Look at his use of in focus and out of focus too. His,
Yeah.
his sense of priority is incredible.
Yeah, he's great at that. He's so good. He plays with like really soft edges, and then as things move back, he lets like the atmosphere really take over. Yeah, he does that as well as anyone. Really, really good. Crazy.
That's all just pretty open too, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's really good at that too. He's not afraid to leave big chunks of negative kind of area. That's awesome.
I mean, when you're dealing with that much real estate, right? It's real, you know, you should always have that in consideration, but when you have this much real estate, it's, you know.
Yeah, I know we're like beating a dead horse talking about Steve Moore, but he's the master of that, in my opinion, just leaving these big chunks of just completely untattooed space that look like they perfectly like belong in the tattoo. Okay, here, let me read. I got this thing pulled up. Let me read a couple of things that Kevin threw out for topics, and you guys tell me if, which ones sound like they'd be cool to talk about. Trouble with migrating audiences to other platforms, in their case, YouTube. Linking other platforms with Instagram, shadow banning, imposter tattoo accounts, Instagram features and why you should be using them, leveraging IG analytics, taking advantage of the features of stories, interacting with your audience over Instagram, whether or not you should have a backup account. I thought those were all pretty good. Different types of Instagram accounts, hashtags and the value behind them. Losing a portfolio if you're locked out of your account. That's one thing that he said he's run into a lot, is people who don't have backups of their portfolios.
Well, now that's just fucking stupid. And the answer to that is don't put your fucking work solely on Instagram.
Yeah.
Like that is so infuriating to me to hear that. I mean, I know it, but anyway, sorry.
Well,
I'm a website fucking control.
I'm not going to tell you where my whole portfolio is. Mine's definitely not just on Instagram.
You have it on Facebook too.
Right. Yeah, it's on Facebook and Instagram, right? No, but I thought that stuff for short little episodes, I think that stuff will all be pretty helpful to people. For me, I'm sure. Yeah,
it's cool. I mean, I'm doing my best to try to get people off Instagram, so I have no opinion.
Yeah.
If nothing else, I would tune in just to hear your voice. Just got to throw that out there and be comical for a minute.
You know, I do have a video coming, and maybe Jake, maybe you might be a good, who knows? But my thought is the secret algorithm, you know, to make everything successful, is the human algorithm, right? I mean, the whole point is that we're like talking with people, you know, and that's the same algorithm that Instagram's trying to figure out. They're trying to figure out how people use it. It's what, you know, what Clubhouse is doing. They're trying to figure out how people can use it, right? And so for us, it's like, you know, what we want to figure out is the human algorithm. Yeah. You know, and ultimately with Instagram, you know, or with all of the, especially with the social medias, like the way to get the most success is to be addicted to it. You know, and you could tell because the people that have millions of followers, you know, are on that shit fucking, you know, 6 times a day, 10 times a day.
Right.
And, you know, the algorithms look to see how much you're using it, and it's going to reward you, you know, accordingly. And, anyways.
Yeah. It's a good point.
Yeah. Honestly, man, I've been trying to wean away from a lot of the social media platforms too. You know what I mean? I think that ultimately what it boils down to for me is a person seeing your work, a person asking that, you know, the tattooed individual where they got it, they come and meet you, you kind of have them face to face for a moment. That human interaction that I think Gabe is talking about too is like, that's Absolutely. So powerful, man. You know what I mean? I think that is the end all be all of everything, to be honest, in my opinion.
100%.
I mean, I see the advantages of the social media platform, but I also don't really, I'm kind of on Gabe's page where it's like, it's kind of losing it's making us lose our essence, so to speak, like a soul in the interaction. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah, I understand, and I agree. I'm less involved in social media. I don't post a lot, and I definitely spend less time even on Instagram than I used to. I was a junkie on it, just looking at everyone's work forever. But the thing is, there's still a ton of people, and if you look at a lot of people that watch our show, they're just getting started. They're just getting their names out there, trying to get, and there's really no better solution for them, you know.
See, I would disagree with that wholeheartedly. Like, if you're just, especially now, if you're just trying to make a name for yourself, put fucking posters out on the streets, you know, people see that shit. Like, you know, collect your email addresses. Give each client 10 business cards.
Yeah.
Because again, now what you're doing is you're taking somebody who's, way late to the social media game, who's now competing against fucking Nico and other people that have millions of, of followers,
Mhm.
So I don't know. Well, again, I'm all for using social media. I'm all for using social media last. For me, as Ricardo was saying, like none of it's going to work unless you're giving such a great experience that your clients are coming back with their friends.
Yeah.
And if your clients are coming back with their friends, then, the first thing I would be doing is fostering that relationship, and I guess we can't do it now, but we could do it online. Like if I had a tattoo shop right now, I would be having customer appreciation parties on Zoom. Hey, we can't get together in person, but like we could all Zoom together. Fostering, Adrian Lee has, yearly parties where all of his back pieces are, for normal non-godlike tattooers, you could have a party with all of your regular clients, so that your clients are interacting with each other and they're talking about how they your clients are literally together talking about how they recommend you to other people who have done the same thing. It all just kind of, you need that first, and so for me, like if somebody's, and there's also a difference between like posting up, first posting to your website, then posting to your, Google business listing, and then posting to your Instagram saying, hey, if you want to learn more about this, these are, the website's the main place to go. And, I don't know, like I was saying earlier, it's like people can tell me that, all the young kids are using Instagram to find tattoos and they're not using Google, but fucking, there's no doubt that people are going to Google and searching for tattoo shop in my area or sleeve tattoo or Disney tattoo or flower tattoo.
Yeah.
And I'm getting fucking, 7. I could run a tattoo shop right now. I haven't had one in 3 years, and I'm clicking. I'm not even sending them anywhere. It's fucking stupid. There's But anyways, for the social media, I might suggest that if you're new and just getting into it and you're trying to carve out a name for yourself, I would put I don't think that social media is the be all end all to get yourself in front of 1 million people. It's not, because even if you have 1 million people, only 100,000 or 10,000 are actually seeing you.
That's true.
I don't know.
That's true.
Sorry, I don't mean to get all. So I got a couple more questions or things here. Let's see. We've got it's -8. In Iowa, Taylor Chapman's in the room. Oh, you know about Taylor.
Man, that's funny. I was just about to mention Taylor Chapman. So Taylor runs TSM Pro, and he's our newest sponsor at with Fireside. And I was just about to bring that up. You were talking about doing parties with your with your client base or putting posters out on the street. They've got a loyalty program that seems like it could be super cool, completely customizable. But basically, like, if as clients spend money, well, loyalty program, just like, Starbucks or someone might have, but you can customize it completely for referrals, for spending X amount of dollars at your tattoo shop. You could make rewards like tattoo time or merchandise or any number of things like that. And I think that they're using technology to build some really kind of like more personalized services that are more like physical, like a physical referral program for your actual existing clients.
Yeah, cool. I mean, there's other. I'm not like I love. I mean, obviously, I fucking love the computers, right? And some of the things that when I talked to him briefly. It reminded me when I had the shop, we were using Booker.com, right? Like the software would look to see where you had holes in your schedule 3 to 5 weeks from now, and then it would go to your database of clients and find the ones that are most likely to fill those spots. Maybe other clients that have usually book on Thursdays, and then it would send them either an SMS message or an email. It says click here to book it. For whatever, it might be for $50 off. It might not even be. And, I'm all, it's weird. Like I'm all for some of that shit, right? If it's, and ultimately it's about the client experience. Like if you're really just trying to like sell shit to the clients, like whatever, like there's obviously lots of tricks to do that, but I've always been of the very soft sell on tattoos. Like I want to educate people and I want them to really want a tattoo from whoever it is that I'm, representing at the time. But like, I never want to have to be like, $50 off if you book now. Like that's just,
right.
But now that said, like it was because the software that we were using was only so customizable. Like I had to we let it out, even though it was kind of cheesy, but people still did it. People still click those buttons, and most people are used to dealing with, especially if you're dealing with like thousands and thousands of tattoo clients. Most of them are going to the fucking mall and dealing with cheesy shit anyways. So. But that's not who I want to cater to. I want to always make sure that we're trying to get all of our communications back to that authentic, the value of a tattoo is the value of a tattoo, and we might get specials or deals or something at some point. But like, only to appreciate the customers, not to like get. Sorry. So to be clear, I like to do that stuff to say thank you to our current clientele, not necessarily to go out there and try to attract newbies. Although obviously it works in all the different ways.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Obviously, it depends on what phase that you're in of your tattoo career too. But yeah, I think if you're a shop that's competing with discount codes constantly, and you're just racing to the bottom, and you're probably doomed to fail. But that's completely different than rewarding a client who's put in 50 hours of tattoo time at your shop and referred 3 of their closest friends.
Yeah.
Two different scenarios.
So let's see, Ms. Ross Sauce in the YouTube chat room. She might be in at some point. She says, "I was at that convention, seeing that piece. It was amazing." So that must have been the Evergreen, talking about.
Yeah, at Evergreen. Yeah, it was incredible. That he worked like a madman all day, and I didn't think there was any chance that I was actually going to get him. Gabe, I think he didn't know me, I don't think, and Jesse. And I think I used your name to actually get the interview because you guys were already kind of working together. And I just hassled him every time I walked past his booth, or every time I looked over and caught his attention. But he worked like a maniac all weekend, and then sat down and did one of the best podcast interviews we ever had, where he like talked about his idea, his approach to color, and how there are only like 12 base colors and everything mixes out of that. He showed me all this crazy stuff where he had done light fast tests on the ink, where he had like put them on pieces of paper and put them in the window for like 2 years, and all kinds of stuff. And I was like, holy crap, I didn't expect all this. It was so good.
Is that the podcast with James Hall?
No, this was Jesse Smith. Did James do that too? Maybe that sounds familiar. Maybe he did. This is the first one we did with Jesse at Evergreen. We did another one with Jesse at Richmond.
Marcus Leonard's done similar tests, I think, too. I think he's tattooed
Marcus did it in his skin. He tattooed his hand. Yeah.
He's for real.
Yeah, he's not screwing around.
Jesse just does it on paper.
Right, yeah.
Let's see, we've got Ronnie Slinging Ink.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, just above that. Mitchell Gring says it's 4 degrees in Texas. James McLaughlin says, "Thank you guys for sharing. It's awesome. Each of you inspire us to do better." He calls these the Art Hero sessions. Wow, and then Ronnie Slinging Ink says amazing. And then he asks, "What do you guys think about the inkjet stencil with the Epson printer?"
I'm steadily learning more about it, Gabe. I haven't reached out to the inkjet folks yet, but we did that episode with Andre Malcolm last week, and he was in the middle of a tattoo and was as helpful as he could be, but I didn't get as much like technical information on the printers and the paper and all that stuff as I wanted. So I'm taking a deeper dive. I'm going to try to reach out to Inkjet. I know that he was using, I put in the comments, someone asked in the comments of that video of YouTube what printer it was, and I found it and I answered in the comments. So if you go to the YouTube video and flip down, you'll find what exact printer that is that he's using. Cool. But I couldn't find out exactly what paper. At first he said he was using just a roll of tracing paper like you would get at the art store. That's the printer. But then he said that Inkjet had their own proprietary paper that was thinner and more malleable. I don't want to try to put tracing paper. He acted like it wasn't any trouble to lay a stencil with tracing paper, but I trace out arms and stuff using tracing paper, and the way it crinkles and stuff, I have no interest in trying to lay a stencil with it. So I don't know.
Yeah, and I think I was working on rolls of paper too, potentially, so that. Yeah,
see that I think that might just be a straight roll of tracing paper that you get at that you would buy at the art center or at Dick's or Artorama or whatever.
We also have this is in the inkjet stencil section here. They've got a whole bunch of samples here. We also have Frank Conception made a full video here about how to edit the photos for the inkjet specifically.
Oh yeah.
It's not like insanely difficult. And once you know how to do it, it's like 5 minutes of treating it maybe. But
you know who else would be good to talk about it, since he's coming on and doing an art jam? Brad Wooten can do that stuff with his brush set and Procreate, and you can really dial in the halftone to get like perfect stencils. He was showing me, he did a quick little something on that in our podcast interview.
Okay, cool.
But he didn't go real deep. It would definitely be something. He's got a good method for it. That's something to talk to him about for sure.
And if people are interested, you can get free samples. So if you treat, I think it's up to 5 different pictures of upcoming tattoos, And then the information is right here. You know, if you hit the Reinventing app and the inkjet stencils section, then you email them to inkjetstencils@gmail.com, treated the way that we have here, and then they will send you 5 samples to try out.
Nice. That's cool.
And yeah, Donna's very helpful with the printer. She
Donna.
like people last time we were talking about it, people had printer problems, and I was like, I don't know, talk to Epson, and she was like, no, talk to me.
Yeah,
So
sweet. Well, hopefully she'll be down with talking about it. I'd like to maybe get her on the show and see if she can show us exactly how to make it work. I'm definitely down to buy that printer and try it out myself. I have an old large format printer, but it's pretty old. I don't know if it would work for it or not.
Let's see. So James Edison is asking, what's the password for the Zoom? You should be able to just click the link that's in the event schedule. And if it's, you know, if you maybe had like just installed or it's asking for it again, you might like quit out of Zoom, go back to that event, and then click on the link again. And it should have the password all set up in the link. And we do that so that we don't get the spammers in.
We were talking.
Jake,
yeah.
When you pick up that printer to try it out,
Mm-hmm.
let me know. One of the guys I work with, he's got one and he swears by it. I've used it a few times. Pretty decent. And we found like a really nice kind of like secret like stencil goo combination that works really, really well. I'll have to get the specifics on what it actually is. But when you put that on, it is unbelievably dark and there.
Really?
Not dark as in like, you know, you just ran it through a thermal fax on its slowest setting and, you know, you've got a whole piece of carbon paper that's there. But it's dark. You get all of the texture. You get everything that comes off of it. It is phenomenal. And we were playing around for a while with different combinations of like stencil stuff and anchored and electrum and like all types of different combinations.
Mm-hmm.
And we found one that really works perfectly.
You're like blending 2 different stencil gels together or creams together?
I mean, I've done that several times, just
never tried that
out of necessity. You know, it's like, oh, well, I'm running low on this and I'm running low on this.
Oh, gotcha.
Let's mix them.
Yeah,
we'll see what happens.
Okay.
So, but we found like the perfect combination of stuff to use. Like I said, I'll have to get the specifics from it, but
yeah, I'll definitely reach out if and when I pick that thing up. I would love to be able to do that, man. I'm so tired of printing. Well, I know I've said it before on our show. Half the time I'll just redraw it with Sharpies on them because I hate stringing together a bunch of stencils. And most of the time I use such a minimal stencil, and I've already got the drawing on my iPad that I can just break out 3 different, you know, like a light Sharpie, a medium Sharpie, and a dark Sharpie, and draw it faster than I can print it on my little brother pocket jet thing, cut it all up, and, you know, stick it to someone.
Yeah, I've got one of those pocket jet printers as well. I love that thing for shows.
Yeah.
Because I never have to leave my booth, and it's super portable and compact. You know, and as far as like printing off at the studio, we still have one of the old 3Ms, like 3M thermal fax machines. And I forget if it was in this show or maybe I got the tip from someone else, but there's actually an app out there called Tattoo Print, which is absolutely incredible for printing off tiled stencils and like larger stuff. I don't know how well you can really see it, but it's called Tattoo Print System. And it is incredible.
What's everyone else on the call here? What are you guys using to print stencils nowadays? Is everyone?
I've still been I use the thermofax and stuff like that still. And I've tried using that tattoo print, and I have to kind of investigate into setting it up because I know that one of the options that interested me the most was you can kind of print it off to the exact size that you need.
Yeah.
And it'll also break it up into different pieces for you on paper, on the paper. So if you need like 3 or 4 pieces of transfer paper, then it just breaks it up automatically for you as far as the size goes. I'm pretty interested in that.
Yeah.
I got to look into that and probably talk to Jason about it and see how to operate that thing. Maybe we can get in contact a little bit more.
Absolutely, man.
Yeah.
Always down to talk about different stuff I've picked up on the road less traveled.
Yeah. Yeah. You were actually the first time that I heard about it. So I thought I'd give it a try, man. It's very, very cool feature so far. I just got to figure out how to use it. So.
And it's just called Tattoo Print?
Tattoo Print System, yes.
Mm-hmm.
It's made by Corey Ferguson.
Okay.
Or at least he's the guy that backed it. I think it was programmed by someone else, but definitely, I mean, it's got, I'll do a quick little like summary through it.
Corey's out of control. I love Corey. Just to
I know, right?
put that out there.
So you can say
Corey Ferguson?
Like
I'll fire him up in the
background. I know who he is. I've just never met him. Yeah, let's see it.
Say you've got like a finished line drawing or whatever that you're trying to print off, and say it's absolutely ridiculously huge, right? Say it's like a full back piece or a sleeve or something. What you would do is you would go into like your photos, right? And you can, let me find a good line drawing. So like, here's one, for example, that I did the other day, right?
Okay. Yeah,
So
I like that layout.
I'm going through, this is my image. I printed it off. I think it was something like 15 inches by, let me pull up the line drawing real quick and I'll tell you exactly how big it was. And that's kind of the trick to this thing, is you need to know how big you have it drawn out in, say, Procreate or wherever. I do everything through Procreate, and I'll actually measure someone's, say this is the forearm from the elbow down. I actually measured it and then plotted it out in Procreate, so I had the exact measurements, the exact size of the template I needed. And I went through, so let's see, I would go to canvas information, 15 by 12 and a half. Okay. So that's my actual physical size. So I come over here, I already have my image uploaded. I would go to print mode and I would go to custom size because it's, or single page, sorry. Keep it on single page. Or no, it was custom size. Sorry. Print size. I would change this to width was 15, right?
Yeah.
By 13.22, measure 2 full page. And then where it says multi-page overlap, I always set that at about 1 inch, just because I like to have a nice margin there. Print alignment guides, you don't have to have that. And I don't know how well everyone can see this. Let's see if I can zoom in a little bit more. But if you might be able to see it, you might not. See if I can adjust the focus real quick.
So are you printing to the Brother Pocket Jet with this?
I'm printing off of just our standard laser printer in the studio. So
but you could print it to whatever
pages. You can print it to the Brother. You just
have
have to make sure that everything, you've got like your pages set, ready to go.
Yeah.
Because with those, you do a manual feed for one page, then you do the manual feed for the next page, and then the next page. But it'll print like little alignment guides so that you can always line everything up if you want it to. Otherwise, you can turn that off and you're good. You can also set it to print out with a grid line and a guideline. That's pretty cool. I've used that a few times. Convert to, you can adjust the brightness, saturation, and contrast right here.
Oh, nice.
You can also go through and say, okay, say it's a color photograph. You can adjust it to be monochromatic. You can adjust, I'm just trying to get a better focus here. And I don't know if that'll help or not. Maybe it was worse.
Yeah, I can see it pretty well. So. Yeah.
So, you can adjust your hue, your saturation, your brightness, your highlights, your shadows. And then if you click it again, you can convert to lines. So it'll do like a line drawing. You can adjust the sharpness, the intensity. You can do a dot pattern, which is pretty cool. So you can make the individual dot width. And this happens all in the background on this. You can do hatch marks. And then you would go to orientation,
Mhm.
which is right here. So automatic portrait landscape, which is pretty cool, you know, because you can say, okay, well, print it out in landscape. I think I did this one in portrait, so it took up less pages.
Mhm.
Once again, you can do a grid overlay. And then when you click print, this is where things get super awesome and you can kind of see the preview. It'll
Yeah.
give you the individual pages,
Oh, yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And it breaks it all down so that you just hit print once and it'll print out 9 individual tiled pages with a
Wow.
1-inch overlap. And you can line everything up, tape it together, and stencil it.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So when you do the, you got to go back a little bit on the Procreate app. When you plot out the measurement sizes, how are you doing that? Like, how are you getting the exact measurement size inside of Procreate? Because I still can't find any kind of ruler. Is there a ruler or something like that in there? Or
So yeah, this is it's a little Procreate hack that I kind of developed over the past little bit. It's yeah, and I've got all types of little Procreate hacks, man. If you're ever interested in like really doing a deep dive, I've got some tricks that would blow your mind.
Yeah.
We should do a
Essentially-
full episode on Procreate hacks. That'd be cool.
yeah.
Oh, dude, I've
Well,
got some
Didn't
really.
I get to you
killer-
first, Jason?
Yep.
I
And
heard
already
a
started
rumor that
laying
you might be
out.
doing a Procreate series.
Nice, yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
and I'm gonna go over all of my tricks.
Yeah.
But
Well, yeah,
to
you
lay
should
out
come on.
measurements-
We'll promote the Reinventing Procreate Trick series.
Absolutely, man. I'm all about it.
Jake, are you snowed in, or do you have to go exercise?
I've got to get. I'm not going to go exercise today because it's way too cold for me. But I do have another call that was supposed to be at 9 o'clock. But I just told him I was running a couple of minutes behind. So yeah, I need to wrap it up in the next minute or two. But
Too
go ahead.
cold to exercise?
For me,
Yeah,
it's
no,
too cold to
that's
go
about-
outside.
Oh,
I'm
man.
not used to. I'm not like you people. I'm
Wow.
sensitive.
Okay.
So here's how I lay it out. First thing I do, and I'll do this in just like I've got this note pad that I use for all of my like consultations, right? I'll go through
Right.
and I measure out their arm with a tailor's measure first.
Yeah.
And a tailor's measure is basically just a big flexible like yardstick.
Right.
Where is so, and I'll go through and I'll have, you know, all of the different measurements that I need. I'll write down all of their ideas, you know,
Yeah.
what could work.
Yeah.
So, you know, I'll measure the height and then I measure it down at either 1 or 2 inch increments, depending on the size of the area I need to cover and how much variation there is.
Okay.
Once I have all of that in Procreate, I'll go through and I'll say, okay, I'm going to put on my drawing guide, which is going to create a light grid. I'm going to edit that. And all of the canvases I draw on are 300 DPI. That's like professional, you know, standard print resolution. So I go through and I know it's at 300 DPI. So I'm actually going to set my grid size down here to either 300 or 150 if I want to break it down into half-inch increments.
Yeah.
You know, or 75 if I want to go down into quarter-inch increments. So let's just do 150 inches, or you can set it with inches. So if it was inches, I would just do 0.5, which is automatically going to calculate it. If I already know the pixels, then that's going to be helpful as well. So now I've got a half-inch wide grid on here. So I know that, okay, here's this part, here's that part. You can set that up from there. And I don't know if I already have this. No, I have that marked out somewhere else. So if I was going to do this again, I would say clear. You know, find my center line, right? Approximately. And then I would start making individual, like tiny little dots. You know, okay, here's, and I always like to leave a half-inch margin at the top or a quarter-inch margin. So I'm going to go through and start plotting out my dots at 1 inch. So I know that there's one, here's another one. I know that all of those are going to be pretty much the same. And I'll be pulling up my my notes right along the side.
Yeah.
So I know that, okay, 13 inches, but I'll divide that in half so that maybe that's 6.5, at 4. So that's what? 1, 2, 3. So this one's going to be 6.5. So sometimes it's easy to help set it up so that you mark out like inch little hashtags or little like, markers. So I know I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and a quarter. So 6.25 will bring me down to here, right?
Yeah.
It ends up like coming out right about there when you draw the full line in. Because what I'll do is I'll plot it all out. Say this is my 0 point, right? I'll plot it all out, then I'll double the layer, line it all up so that everything's full width. It's kind of like a long way to do it, but it works well. And then, you just continue on with the rest of it.
Yeah, exactly.
And connect the dots.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Man,
awesome.
Honestly, the consultation part, I'm on page with that because I sit down and I have a very thorough consultation with all my clients. You know what I mean? Especially new ones. The older ones that I've been tattooing for years, they get it. They've already been around it. But the newer ones, you sit down, you ask a lot of questions. But these are a little bit of extra steps that I've never thought about. But man, honestly, like Jake was just saying, I feel like it would take a lot of the stress out, dude, and like so much, time spent on trying to line the stencils up and stuff like that. It sounds like you just print it out and it's ready to go. Like there's a lot of extra steps, but you got it nailed down to the exact inch and stuff like that. It's incredible.
Right. Then you can be prepared. Andre Malcolm mentioned that in our episode. He said by the time his client gets there, his stencil is printed and like pinned to the wall, waiting to place. For me, if I have a noon appointment, I hope that I'm tattooing by 1:15 because I'm like test printing and then cutting, and I do all that stuff when they get there. So, guys, I do have to run. I've got another call that I'm supposed to be on about 15 minutes ago, but yeah, this one was awesome. I'm gonna go back actually, maybe rewatch some of this and make some notes, and I'm definitely gonna check out the tattoo print system.
It's definitely worth it, man. I think it's like $10 on the App Store, but worth every penny.
Absolutely.
So what was that tattoo print system? Is that what you said?
Yeah, that's what it is on the App Store.
Perfect. A couple people are asking. I also have a couple of printer recommendations for the inkjet stencils system. Shannon Gates recommends the Epson ET-M2170.
Damn it, guys, I have to get out of here. Now I'm going to write this down. Say it again.
Sorry, okay, well, I have two of them. The other one is the Epson M1120. And Boss John, who's been in the chat room before, says, I recommend it. Buy it. You won't regret it. But then the other one, and I don't know, maybe one of these is the oversized one.
What was that first one? 8T what? Say it again.
The first one was ET-M2170.
M like Mike?
Yes.
Correct. Cool. And actually, while I'm on this one, ePrez says, wow, this is when he was looking at your setup for the streaming. He says, wow, Jake, there goes $3,000. My wife will not thank you for this.
Right. Yeah. Not counting the camera. Right. It was. And the thing is, I bought two of them. I bought one for the studio, for the tattoo studio as well. It's on a C-stand, a mobile C-stand. That one, it's not completely set up. I'm still working on it. But yeah, I went overboard. I gotta stop being friends with Russ Abbott. That's my problem.
Yeah.
He has
tax write-off and depreciation then.
Right. All right, guys. I'm gonna get out of here. I'll see you guys next week. Have a good week.
Take care,
Stay warm.
Take it easy, man.
Thanks.
Peace.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Have fun.
Yeah,
and that's Fireside Tattoo Network that you want to check out the YouTube channel for. And before we go, I realize that the only thing I need to make sure of is that I need to test playing some videos during the Zoom call. Because at noon, when we do the interview with Mark from Needle Jig, I've got a 10-minute video to play. So at some point when there's a lull, I'll be playing a little bit of Tony Urbanek's Building a Tattoo Machine seminar.
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
Like a little quick preview.
Oh yeah, fuck it. I'll do it now, and I'll turn off my sound so that I can boil my tea.
Cool.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to number 4 of our Paul Rogers, how to build a Paul Rogers tattoo machine style tattoo machine. Today we're going to be covering just a little bit of different geometry, going over the jigs, going over the assembly again. We have to finish our coil core construction. We have to finish our coil core assembly. We have to sweat braze our collet into the frame, which will hold our tube. We cut that out last week. We cut our cores out last week. We did not make an A-bar yet. We're going to do that today. And we're going to get started. I'm going to show you some stuff. Still working on the plans for our little bench jig here. Very important, especially when we're sweating together our collet into our machine, setting our geometry. This is a shader geometry setup. So last week, we cut our side plate, we cut our base plate, we cut our spring shelf, we fabricated a jig, we assembled the jig, we drilled, tapped, and screwed. Might be too close. Drilled, tapped, and screwed our pieces together. Then I told you all at the end of the lesson to go ahead and finish it out and cut it down. I cut mine down to use the rear horizontal binding post. And actually, we'll talk about binding posts if we get time later. They're a pretty quick thing, binding post and contact screws. During the week, I actually completed the T-Cat frame. It's the same type of build. Again, using all the same geometry, just a different, a little weirder geometry on this one. It's a little more snubby, compact, as you can see. But it's the same deal. Same side plate, same base plate, same spring shelf, same deal. It's just aesthetically, it's different. And I'll put a couple options for liner shader configs up top for a different geometry. I set this in a midline, like hybrid liner geometry. I'm actually going to tweak it back to a shader because I use the shader spacing on the rear spring. So we're going to turn this bad boy into a squished little micro shader. Also finished another big J. It's up on @Urbanic Machines on Instagram. It's all kind of pictures. Same build, same deal, same geometry. So let's get you from this, where we left off, to something crusty and cool like this. Or
That's amazing. Yeah, dude. You know, I know a lot of people that are coming up now, they're learning on rotaries of some sort or pens, you know what I mean? And that's awesome. I mean, after tattooing for so long, I love the lighter, you know, impact overall of rotaries and pens and stuff like that. But there's something so just concrete, solid about a coil machine that I do miss sometimes, you know what I mean? The weight of it, the feel of it, the realness of it, mechanics of it, like how you have to pray to it every day to make sure that it's going to run as well as you want it to, no matter how often you try to tune it. You know what I mean? There's just some magic in there that's kind of missed. And the fact that you can, you know, participate in this guy giving us all this knowledge and paying for it, of course, but it's awesome that he's passing this on to everybody. So that's incredible. From the ground up too, man. That's awesome, dude. Awesome.
You know, watching him do it every week has been, well, you know, I guess it's every day is an adventure here at Reinventing, but it really is. It's like, I don't know how much more I could possibly listen to tattoos and still be interested, but it never fucking gets old. And just see him in there with a file and making that shit, you know, with hand tools right in front of you is, you know, and the people that are participating, you know, they've been sending in some pictures and, you know, they're making their machines too. It's pretty sick.
Killer. Yeah, dude. I mean, I can't stress enough, you know, people used to keep that stuff so secretive, man. And the fact that this guy's like teaching us the right way to do it, you know what I mean? It's incredible. I just can't stress it. I don't even know what other word to use to say. Like, that's amazing. I'm at to get involved in that class for sure.
Yeah, he'll be doing other machines. He's having a real good time with it. So he's already thinking about the next couple builds that'll be doing with people. And I think you might have this one be like the required course. You know, once you build the first Paul Rogers style by hand, Then it'll be able to take some of the other ones that he's doing live. But yeah, it's pretty fun. He's also doing some machine builder interviews and whatnot. There's at least one that's in the Reinventing podcast folder, and he'll be doing some interviews with machine builders, and it's yeah, and again, it's some people are still using a lot of people clearly are still using the coils, but even if you're on the rotary, just understanding how it all works and is it's pretty cool. I mean, it is the history too. He's doing it the way Paul Rogers did it. Again, before there were too many power tools. It's crazy.
Yeah. That's what I was going to say too. A Paul Rogers style machine as well. Like just the boot, man. That's just that name on its own. But then I agree with you, man. Like to understand the lineage, the history of where we're at now and where it's come from. I think that's a huge benefit to our art and like progressing for ourselves and the community as well too. So excellent.
Cool.
Excellent.
Yeah, I took so I actually went through a couple of different apprenticeships when I was coming up. One of them was actually a machine apprenticeship where I sat down with one of the local machine builders, no one super well known, just a guy that had acquired knowledge and started building his own. He had like some kind of a machinist background, and worked with him for about 1.5 2 years, and just learned machines inside and out, upside down, left, right, backwards, forwards, reverse engineering them to break them down and say, okay, why does this one run this way when something like this, which might be a little bit smaller, runs this way? Maybe the smaller one hits a lot harder. Maybe it's got a bit more speed to it. Like, what is the major difference? How can I adjust whatever machine it is to tune it to the way that I want it to work? And it was mind-blowing what this guy was going over with me. And it's something I won't ever forget, because that is part of our craft. And it's becoming a lost art.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And it's not machine built, it's like this guy's hands is teaching you how to do it with your hands. And once you learn this, nobody can ever take that away from you. You know what I mean? Like you'll always be able to look back on that information and be able to find the resourceful tools that you need and put it together. It's a trade. It's a trade. It's an honest trade, man. And nobody can ever take that away from you, dude. So it's incredible.
It's fun that the other machine builder I'm talking to a lot, I guess I talked a fair amount, but is like Carson. I've been talking to Carson a little bit more with his new Numas. And he's like on the exact opposite end almost, right? Although he's not, right? Because what he wants is he does want everyone to get along. He's very clear, like there is no, rotaries versus coils, or at least there doesn't have to be.
No.
And but he's got a pretty sweet, set of research behind his new machine, which is pretty cool. Obviously I'm never going to tattoo with any machine, so I don't give a fuck. But it was amazing. Like when he did, a guy went out there in California with a whole mess of tattooers. Must have been 5 or 6 years ago now. And did a lot of research. Like they got the high definition, high speed cameras. Probably like the one that Russ has now. They kind of rented back then, and did a lot of recording of different tattooers tattooing with all the different major machines. All the different coils, the different rotaries, and so he has a really good set of data about how long different machines tend to stay in the skin and whatnot.
Right.
So I remember after a couple of years after that happened, I was always a little sad that research never came to fruition. And then fucking, a year ago, all of a sudden it's like, whoa, shit, here comes Carson with a fucking new Numa. Using all of that research, literally having different cams that, behave the way those machines, behaving similarly to the way the different machines are working. And,
right.
Yeah, I was actually looking to pick one of those up. Give it a shot. I'm still kind of debating on which model I want to pick up, but I mean, they all look pretty nice. I was surprised at some of the weight behind some of them though. Like some of them are way up there in weight, which I guess can be beneficial. I think it was like the one with the solid brass grip is something like 12 ounces or something like that.
How far I'm up right now?
Which I mean, by today's standards, where everyone's trying to go for like, the lightest and quickest, and least, or least weighty machine, I can't see them tattooing with it. because it would just be like holding a brick in your hand.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was, I mean, for those of us that started out with coils that, yeah, 122 grams.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Starting out with coils and hearing that, it's like, well, that's not too bad. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's
12
like, oh,
ounces
that's
isn't
it?
too bad.
12 ounces?
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
nothing.
Exactly. Oh,
I got a
man.
brass frame that weighs 3 pounds.
Yeah, no big deal.
That's okay. You balance it out with a big weighty 2-inch wide steel grip and you're fine.
There you go, man. Put some silicone grips on those things and you're good to go.
Yeah. Yeah, but I actually think I might pick one of those up and give it a go. You know, I was
That's
debating
interesting.
between that and the wireless Cheyenne 4.0, which I've been hearing a lot of great things about.
Yeah.
And I already have a Sol Nova, and I use that one, you know, every now and then, and I like it. It's nice. I do like the fact that with the wireless machines, you can turn off the give.
Yeah.
Which I really, really like, because there's sometimes when you just want more of a direct drive machine.
Right.
So I was debating between both of them. I'll probably end up with both of them at some point. It's just a matter of which one do I want to get first.
I do believe that you could use some of the third-party batteries on the Numa, which I was kind of surprised because he like so I asked Carson or he said something about, I was like, when do you have your batteries? When are you going wireless? And he's like, it's coming. You know, I've got in another couple months. You know, where it's in the works. And then I was talking with somebody else, and they were like, I just fucking bought like a $60 battery and fucking put it on the back of it.
Right.
And when I went back to Carson, you know, can you just use regular batteries? He's like, yeah. I'm like, well, okay. Until you have your own solution, there is a wireless Numa 4 solution, it sounds like. But I don't know. Again, like I said, I'm completely just spreading vicious rumors as a non-tattooer.
You know, that's interesting that you said that, Jason. I was just looking at the newest this morning when I was talking to Gabe online and kind of thumbing through them. And I remember, like I said, I did a painting kind of crash course with Jeff Gogoy out at his shop, a while ago, in oil painting. And Carson was actually there. We showed up like a day early, kind of came into the shop just to check it out. And Jeff was actually tattooing him with one of the newer machines at that time. I think that was in 2006 or 2007 at the time. So I know they've changed quite a bit since then. And like you said, Gabe, you know, there's a lot of experimenting and a lot of kind of footwork that goes into those newer machines and everything like that. So it's pretty cool to see that in person. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he also went through a bit of rebuilding of Numa. You know, when I was talking to him a little bit, I was like, well, this was great. Do you answer your fucking phone? Right? Like, because I remember back in the day, you know, it could be a little bit difficult to get a hold of. And he was pretty clear. He's like, nah, man, like, it sucked so bad in the past that we are hypersensitive about answering the phones, about answering emails. And it was good because I did get a third-party confirmation on that a couple of, I don't know, it was a day or two or a couple of weeks later. In one of these sessions, somebody was talking about Carson, and he was a week or two ago. They were like, "Yeah, you know, it must have been on a Monday," because he was like, "I called him up yesterday on a Sunday, and he answered the phone." So it feels like the company's evolved as well as the machines, which is great.
Yeah, killer. You know, right now I'm using the Flux, that Spectral Flux, and it's not too bad. I did have the Zion before that, and I did use a third-party kind of battery. And the only problem that I had was whenever I was using it after an extended period of time, I think we talked about this last week, is that the machine felt like it started kind of clipping out a little bit, like as far as the consistency and the power. And I think it was that counterbalance of weight that was missing with that RCA jack.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
We do have let's see, Nathan in the chat room says it works with the Amazon batteries just fine. I use mine like that all the time.
Yep.
My only real questions would be, you know, so I'm used to using like a 3.5, which I consider to be like the universal stroke length for a rotary, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can go lower than that, and I can tattoo with anything, including like an Injecta, which has a 3.25 cam. My Zion, which I almost always use the 3.2 cam on. But I also have like all of these different machines that I'll use and I'll switch back and forth between. But like 3.2 to like 3.5 is like, to me, the universal stroke length. You can do just about everything with it. So if I'm used to that, I was thinking about picking up the 3.5 Numa 4, but it's like, all right, well, what's the real difference between the aluminum? They've got the aluminum wheel and the brass wheel. And I know the brass wheel is going to have a bit more velocity. Let me see if I can just pull that up real quick. And then there's, you know, you've got the different percentage cams that you can put into it, which is pretty cool. You know, based on your style of tattooing and all that stuff. It's really interesting, but it's like, what would be the best for me? Because the last thing I want to do is go through and, you know, drop money on that, on something that I'll use it, you know, maybe a few times and be like, whoa, this is just too much.
Right.
You know, I'm not really all about that. You know, I like to make wise, informed decisions when it comes down to making a major purchase like that.
That makes sense.
So it's, let me see if I can find shop. Yeah, here we go. So they've got like a whole like setup for sale. That's where was the one? I was looking at the Meteorite just because it's a little bit lighter. Yeah, so they've got the 3.6 stroke length, the ultra short 2.75, and then the 4.2. Now I'll probably go for the 3.6 when I do pick it up. But it's got all these different, it's got the 20%, 28%, 33, and 40% cycles with all of those different stroke lengths. And where was the color difference? I remember looking on and seeing a whole page about, yeah, here we go. So that's the grip material. Yeah, the bearing arms. The brass one's going to have a harder hit for apparently line work and color packing, but can be used for anything. The aluminum bearing arm has a softer hit and is recommended for delicate line work, soft gray shading, and multiple pass color layering. You know, but it's like for what I like to do with a lot of really nice color blends, but I also like to be able to use the same machine for black and gray, which would be my better option. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because I don't want to cause too much trauma to the skin like I'm coloring if I'm doing black and gray. And that is something I really do like about the Zion and the Cheyenne Soul Nova, is that, you know, it doesn't hit so hard to really cause a whole lot of trauma to the skin.
Right.
Because of that, I can use it for just about everything. And I can just vary my technique up a little bit to go through and say, oh, okay, well, I'm going to use this little trick to cause less trauma to this area. And I'm going to use this little trick over here to go through and really pack this area of color super solid.
Right.
You know,
so I'm really glad you said that. Yeah, I'm really glad you said that, because there is a lot of options and things like that. And I'm sure that, you know, straight out of the box, there is a lot of ways to utilize all these numbers and everything like that. But I kind of agree with you where, you know, after a sense of time tattooing, you do kind of learn that a tool is a tool, and it depends on how you use it, how you maximize the potential of it. You know, because you can give one guy a paintbrush, he's going to create something entirely different than the guy next to you. So
yeah, it's something. So it's one thing I constantly see up on a lot of these different Facebook forums that I'm a part of, is that like, oh, what's the best machine for lining? What's the best machine for shading? You know, I'm looking for a super light gray shader, you know, pen style rotary. What do you guys recommend? And it's like, well, I don't know what you're using now, but you know, you can do what you need to do with what you have.
Yep.
You have to adjust your technique a bit more,
right?
But you know, it can do it. I've used, you know, $80, you know, Chinese knockoffs before, and you can execute a tattoo great with them.
Yeah.
But you have to know how to use it right.
Yeah. Now, I got a question for you. Do you think that comes from your experience with coils? Because like I was saying earlier, you know, a lot of times, no matter how often you have that thing just singing perfectly, man. It's got that perfect buzz. It's got that perfect wave to the armature bar and everything like that. But you do one tattoo in the morning and it's running perfectly. The next tattoo you do, it's running entirely fucking different.
So that's
You know,
that's exactly why I switched to rotaries, believe it or
yeah,
not.
yeah, no, me too.
There's so many variables involved with coil machines, everything from how much bend are you putting in your needle bar or on your needle tips.
Yeah.
You know, what type of grommet are you using? Because those grommets are not exactly the same every time.
Nope. The rubber band
tension.
Yep.
Bingo.
Yep.
You know, so, you know, how's the tube that you're using? If you're using all disposable tubes, how far is that sitting inside the tube vise and how stable is that keeping it?
Mm-hmm.
You know, how much bend is there in that disposable tube? Because if you have an 8-ounce machine here, right, and you've got a plastic tube here, you're going to have a little bit of flex in that tube. So you have to be able to counteract that. You know, so there's all of these variables with coil machines where when you're using something like a pen style rotary or cartridge machine, you put the cartridge in.
Yep.
You know, as long as you're using quality cartridges, you don't usually have to adjust too much.
Yep.
And there's far less variables that you have to take into consideration.
Right.
So that's the entire reason why I switched. I was tired of dealing with that.
Yeah.
So to me, consistency is everything. If it doesn't matter what machine I'm using, if it's going to be consistent, then I'll use it and I'll learn how to execute a tattoo with it. You know, it's going to mean adjusting myself to that machine. But if I have a learning curve, that's fine. I've got several close friends that, you know, I like to think of them as, you know, just people that let me kind of mess around on them. But these are people that I started out tattooing when I first got started.
Yeah, so they're already.
These are guys I've tried everything, man. You name it, I've tried it, and some of it's worked well, some of it hasn't, but they've always been loyal, and I know they're not going anywhere else.
Yeah, and they love it too. That experience with you.
Oh, absolutely. And they're like, "Oh man, you want to try something out? Go for it." And it's like,
yeah, man.
All right.
Okay.
Suit yourself.
Yeah, man.
But it's having people like that available has made a world of difference. You know, and it's something that a lot of people out there, maybe they don't have that. Maybe they don't have, like, you know, a good friend from high school or college they can call up to be like, "Yo, just got in a new machine, man. Let me tool around on you. When can we get you in?"
Right.
You know, because you never want to use something that you're not familiar with on a paying client.
No, definitely not. I agree with that completely. Yeah, anytime you buy a new machine, no matter what or who it's from, I always do that too, man. I have a couple of friends the same way. It's like, "Hey, man, I picked up this new machine. Got to give it a run through and see how what kind of adjustments I need to make, or if I do need to make any at all." You know what I mean? So I agree with you. You always have to take that into consideration for sure.
Yeah, and that's it's a very. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, it's, 10:40. I do have to get set up for the Let's Talk Tattoo with Mark from Needle Jig and James, the Adina guy. Do you guys want to give it another 5 minutes and then we'll stop at 10:45?
Sounds good.
Yeah, I'm good whenever, man. Yeah, so I think it's, you know, and I'll do that anytime I'm trying out like a new pigment or maybe a new type of needle configuration. You know, and sometimes it's got great results. I remember when I first made the switch to Black Claw cartridges, I was blown away. I was like, we just did this whole tattoo to a perfect quality in a quarter of the time.
Right. Yeah, dude, I can't tell you how much of a difference that made for me too. Like switching over to these other cartridges that I had, man, I'm like, am I doing this right? Because it took a lot less time than it usually does. What the hell is going on here? But you're right, because there's some significant differences in you know, quality, and coming from you know, somebody that has some experience in those needles and such, like you're saying with the Black Claw especially. So.
Well, I mean, that's kind of what you get when you have, you know, tattooer owned and operated companies. These guys will go through and they'll spend, you know, months and months testing out different configurations just for quality assurance.
Yeah.
you know, and if you're putting your name out there like that and you've got such a brand strength behind you that you can turn around and say, oh yeah, this is endorsed by these guys. It's like, whoa, okay, they must have done some quality checks, because they're not going to put something out that's going to ruin their brand.
Right. Yeah, that's killer, man.
Yeah, but I guess we'll start wrapping up for now. So as always, I wanted to give Gabe a thanks. Gabe, for all of the spells that you've been casting in the background, all of the you know, sacrifices that you've made for doing all this stuff, man. I can't thank you enough.
Oh, no problems. It's a hell of a lot of fun to do.
Kudos.
Thank you.
I can only imagine. But yeah, if anyone ever wants to get a hold of me, ask me questions about anything, about my my webcast setup, about, you know, different tattoo apps, or, you know, how I would lay something out, or how I would do just about anything, or even if you just want to say hi and see how I'm doing, which is always nice. You can always get a hold of me on Instagram at Philly Inc. I work at a studio called the Inkwell Tattoo in Southampton, Pennsylvania, which is about 30 minutes north of Philadelphia. I'm on these, and I also lead the Sunday afternoon drawing group at 1 p.m. every Sunday, pretty much religiously. I was even on there yesterday. Not that I had Valentine's Day plans or anything, but yeah, it was a great session yesterday. If you didn't get a chance to hop in and check it out, definitely check out the February the 14th episode. We covered a lot of really great stuff. Guy stopped by and said hi. And, you know, it was just a great time, a lot of great conversation and discussion. Highly recommend you check it out. And that's all available through the Reinventing the Tattoo app. Highly recommend it. And if you're looking for something to just give you a little boost, just to maybe take your work to the next level, hop on, get a subscription, join us in the Monday night drawing group, where we're always trying to advance and just improve what we do. It's a whole bunch of like-minded individuals that go through. We all have the same goal of just improving, you know, ourselves and our art and our tattoos. It's a great time, and it's, you know, sometimes it's just that little bit of extra nudge in the right direction to really help step your work up to that next level.
Yes, sir.
Ricardo, where can people get a hold of you?
Oh yeah, man. My name is Ricardo Sturdivant. I work at my own shop called Candor Tattoo. You can pretty much get a hold of me on Instagram, or on the Reinventing the App Tattoo. Reinventing the Tattoo App. I'm sorry. Just message me, man. Like I said, like Jason was saying, hit me up anytime you want to talk, chit chat. You know, any information that I can share, I'd be happy to share it with you. Especially when we were talking about the consultations and such. I know that we had talked a few weeks back about me putting out more information about how I do it, and I plan on getting that together for you guys too. So
yeah, awesome. If you want to schedule like a
great.
time to do a short interview or something along with it, so once you get the outline, that'd be cool.
Yeah, man, I'm down.
Maybe even do some. We could do some mock consultations.
Yeah,
That would be awesome.
We should bring in. We should bring in some of the apprentices and give them a fucking rough time.
Yeah, that'd be great. I'd love that.
That could be a lot of fun.
Yeah, let's throw in some alcohol and see what happens.
Oh,
Yo, I'm
drunk
all about
consults.
Yeah, let's do some drunk consults, man.
Oh shit!
But we can call it some crunk.
Yo, we just hit a
Drunk
golden idea.
Yeah. I think maybe
do
what
it.
we'll do is we'll do a couple of those in the next drunk critique, so we don't have like a million programs that are drunk. But yeah, I think. Oh
Yeah.
no, that could be a sitcom.
Yeah. And I'm
Okay.
down.
Well, all good ideas keep coming back to the top. So, anyways, we'll catch up with you guys tonight at 9:00 for the Reinventing subscriber exercises. I'm going to set up for the noon Eastern Let's Talk Tattoo with Mark Lascarbo from Needle Jig, and yeah, it's exciting to be doing this all the time and watching everybody improve consistently and share with each other. And it'll be very exciting when we can catch up in person again. We'll do the field trip to the Muter Museum in Philly. I don't know what the hell is out in Iowa, but there's something that we'll meet you there for. And